with the fact that where you're going. But talking about your beginning as a fresh graduate, you joined Dialog Telecom as a senior executive in quality systems. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's
Correct,
it. Yes. So how did your first job shape your career objectives, and how did it contribute in becoming the person who you are now?
There's an airline going on top. You can...
Do I need to repeat the question?
No. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So talking about I will tell you a bit about my university time also. I want to so there was this I got into University of Moderator, and then got selected to even now there is a very so getting into Moderator is one thing, but getting into the area that you want to study is a different thing. There's a more competition, because now once you get selected, there are various fields that you want to do at Moderator. Unlike in maybe foreign universities, if you want to do to electronics or computer, then there's another competitive exam in the first year. So getting selected into where you want to do is a even bigger challenge. So somehow or the other, I managed to get into top 25 of the batch, and then I had the advantage and the privilege of asking any of the field that I want to do. So once I get selected to that, there's a funny idea came to me. So I realized, okay, now I got through all this. The rest of my life in my university, I will not do any studies. So I'm not asking any one of you to do that. But what I want to do is, I want to, in the next 3 years, I want to do the things that I couldn't do up to now. For example, during my school days, I couldn't do much sports, right? So I thought, okay, next 3 years, I will be doing only sports, which I did actually. I mean, I never participated in a national level sports events, but during my university time, I could actually participated, and not only participate, I could even win at national level also. I did rowing for 3 years at university. So what really brought me during, I mean, I mean, there were times that I cut lectures. I used to cut like 80% of the lectures. So today, I think you are asked to, do 80% of attendance, right? Those days I used to cut 80% of lectures, right? So don't try to do what I did. I mean, I'm not asking you to follow what I did, but then that basically my university life was waking up at 5 a.m., going to Beera Lake, then coming back to university around 10, 11 o'clock. By that time, all the lectures are finished. You can first lecture also finish, second lecture also in the halfway, so you can't get in there. Then I might get into lecture at 2 o'clock or after lunch. Then at 3 p.m. I go back to Bolgod Lake for rowing. So that was my schedule all that time. So, but then what that really taught me was something completely different, something that is related to the corporate life that you're going to embark on after some time, because it's not about what you learn at the university academically, but a lot of other things. For example, working with a team, how to manage number of things together while doing all that, how you manage to get your studies and get all that. So it's a multitasking scenario. So with that experience, getting a job at Dialog those days. So Dialog was one of the blue chip companies. I'm a more or less an entrepreneur now. I mean, I don't want to do like a work in a company or work for someone. But those days, I never really had a thought of becoming an entrepreneur. But my ambition, like most of the others, was to join one of the blue chip companies. But then I was wondering whether I could get selected to a job. So I remember the first interview that I had at Dialog. I didn't utter anything about my electronics engineering. I was talking about entirely my experience at rowing, my sports life at university. and I got selected for just talking about that. So I'm not trying to boast here, but then the things that I did differently to other people, that really got me the job, which I can tell at any forum. So the first time when I applied for Dialogue and when I got the job, I was interviewed by Dr. Hans Vijaysurya. I think he's my big boss those days. He was the CEO of Dialogue, one of the most respected professionals in Sri Lanka. So entire discussion that we had, he was asking questions, nothing to do with electronics, nothing to do with electronics engineering. He was asking from A to Z, what sort of things I did different to the others. So I think that was the reason that I got selected. So your question is, then I joined Dialogue. Then when I selected for Dialogue also, then there was issue. Now anyway, it's a telco company. You have to know your technical knowledge. You have to use your technical knowledge. But I knew I'm not a perfect person when it comes to technical. Even though I call myself an electronics engineer, I'm not that good with electronics. So then I realized there's a weak part to me. But then I realized this is the time, even though I have a bachelor's degree with me, I should understand that I don't know anything about the job that I have to do at Dialogue and the things that I have to do. So I was always in the impression that I have to learn. At least there are so many things that I have to learn, which I think one of the best thing that I did at Dialogue, I started moving to various areas. For example, if I feel that today I don't know about marketing, I try to move into marketing area. If I feel that I don't know anything about accounting, I started moving to accounting area, start learning. So I think the next 7 to 8 years I was at Dialogue, and also after another 3 years in Dialogue mother company in Asiata. So about 11 to 12 years I was at Dialogue. I was moving every year or every 2 years. I used to move into different areas. So I think it was like so I managed to do about another, even though it's not a paper qualification, I managed to do about another 5 or 6 different areas. Not only learn, but actively work in that area during that 11 to 12 years in my life at Dialogue. So I think that really helped me where I am today. Did I answer your question?
Yes, of course, Mr. Heminda. So now he talked about whether to follow your heart, whether to follow your passion, or else just embrace whatever the opportunity coming in your way. Now, he said that he was into electronics and telecommunication, but he wanted to explore other things as well, because that might be his passion, exploring other areas. So, Ms.Dinuka, that might link to your question now. As a fresh graduate, you joined Creative Software, and it was as a business analyst. Having had a degree in computer science, what were the other jobs that you could have taken, and what made you choose business analyst among them? Business analysis, I'm sorry, among them. Whether it was your passion, what's your opinion on that? Ms.Dinuka?
Sorry, I think you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So same as Heminda, I'll go with the story. So in a meetup, I attended as a first year or a second year student. There was a session about business analysis. That's the first time I heard about business analyst career path. Speaker talked about the job role and the fun part, like being a BA. So then I liked it. So after that session, a part of me wanted to become a business analyst. But like I did computer science. So as most of the other students, a part of me wanted to become a software engineer. So however, I ended up doing a internship in software engineering. There I saw how software industry works and how people are playing these different roles. Then I realized my strengths and what I like to do align more with product career path than into software engineering. So in this field, we have a lot of other career paths: UI, UX, DevOps, support, systems, quality assurance, project management. That's what I'm doing now. So by the time of graduation, after properly analyzing what I want to do, what I like to do, and what I can do, I started my career as a business analyst. Because it's passion. Actually, it's important to do what we like to do, identifying our interest, strengths, and select a field. So that's what, yeah.
When you said that you chose business analyst and you heard about that when it was your second year, it sounded just like me, because I also got to know about this business analyst role when I was in second year. And I was doing, I am doing management and information technology. So that the combination, I think it is really important for a business analyst. So I would be happy if I'm to talk about that further, but with the time being, I'll move to Ms.Rasini. Ms.Rasini, uh,
Yes, love.
Sini, you have majored in psychology, which
Yeah.
comes under social sciences, if I'm not mistaken, because at the university, we have this social sciences, faculty of social sciences and humanities. So we hear that in that faculty, we have this stream called psychology. So we know that we have seen in news, we heard from everywhere that social sciences is a stream that there are not much jobs are available in that stream. So that's a popular belief. I don't know whether that's true, but there are evidences that we see that people pass out from the university and they wait at home without getting into a job. What's your opinion on that? Is that true? The belief, is there an unavailability of jobs for that stream? I don't know your answer. If you say yes, there's an unavailability, how serious it is? I mean, what's the reason behind that? And if not, what are the available job opportunities for a social sciences graduate? You can combine both as well. So your opinion
No,
on that?
right. Oh, I seriously wish I also had a story to tell. But well, yeah, my story is very different as well. I wanted to be a gynecologist since the day I knew that I have an option of picking up a career. But then here I am, I think, as a psychologist. But I must say, I completely disagree with this whole stigma about, I would call it a stigma or maybe a negativity towards this field of social sciences. Naomi, Naomi, I would also like to say that I think there are certain participants whose microphones are switched on.
Yes, there's a kind request from us.
Yeah.
Can you all
Yeah,
please
because I
mute
can't
your
exactly hear what you are saying. Okay, I think it's a little better now, right? So, however, I would like to say yes, there are so many opportunities, when you do social sciences, right? But again, I would like to take what Mr. Heminda and then Dinuka also said. It's not just about the degree that you do. It's also about adding so many things to it, so many elements to it. I mean, just because you study 4 years and get a degree certificate doesn't mean that the world is waiting for you waiting to actually accommodate you for their organization or their company. That is something you have to understand. Now, for example, by default, I had to take up public speaking during my time as a student, 3 months, 1 semester public speaking, right? Well, because I actually wanted to, I really had to take it. I never had an option because of the fact that I didn't want to do calculus, to be very honest. I'm really bad at maths. And my phobia towards maths actually led me to do public speaking for 3 months, which was a very traumatizing 3 months for me. But however, I think it actually was able to transform me as an individual. Now, that transformation is what I combined with psychology now. See, I believe that just because you teach somebody to speak doesn't mean they will never learn to speak. There are certain personality issues in a person that you have to deal with in order for them to be a good speaker. Now, that is where I stepped in and I realized that, if I combine these two elements, psychology and then personality building and then, public speaking, and then, you can do something amazing out of it. And at the same time, Nayomi, I think the studying or the craving to learn something should never stop just because you think you're qualified enough. I think even at this moment, I also started a new venture where I started learning international relations because I actually get the opportunity to work with so many foreigners. So I realized that it's indeed, I should know about these things. I should know about history of certain countries. I should know about, nations as well. I know about people, right? But it's also important that I get to know about certain people as well. Why certain people have become, certain charismatic leaders, even people so negative like Hitler are so loved by so many. So all these things, I think you should never stop this craving. Now, if you, let's say you have a social science degree, then you can obviously go into doing things. Let's take psychology, for example. You can do counseling. You can get into research. You can join certain companies, right? Even whatever the field that, you name it, psychology is there. Even if you take marketing, it's all about consumer psychology. It's all about knowing what people want and why people should buy your things, whatever you're trying to sell. Whatever it is, psychology is there. So in order for you to stand out, even with a 4-year degree, you need to actually add so many elements to you as an individual and have that craving and the desire to learn, right? Even from the smallest individual that comes towards you, you have to have that humbleness. So it's more about having an attitudinal change. Like you have to change your attitudes if you want to stand out than the rest of them. I know there are so many who come out of universities with a psychology degree, right? But how many do you see? How many names do you see? And that's the difference. And I think that opportunities are plenty. But then like Mr.Heminda said, that, when you go out there, and it's all about your persuasion to get through to those people and tell, what, I'm good at this. That confidence. And it's all about so many soft skills and so many things added to you. So all these things will not come to you just like that. You have to go after them and add them to, to your life. So that is what I would have to tell you.
Ms.Rasini, so after your opinions, what I understood was it's all about your perspective. It's all about your attitude.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing called less opportunities and more opportunities. It's how you look at that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Nayomi. There could be 50 people coming out of a university. And then sometimes you might see that 10 people moving so far, so fast. It's only because of the fact that you have the same degree. But then why those people are going forward is the fact that they are absolutely, adding so many other elements to the work that they already have with them, the knowledge that they already have with them. And you need to have that. You need to have that desire. You need to have that craving to learn and to go forward in life. If you want to stay in the comfort zone, right? Because some people just want to have a normal life, a normal job, if, a normal pay, an okay pay, a normal job, a comfortable job. Now you need to get out of this poisonous factor of this comfort zone. You need to be in the edge of your seat if you want to be somebody extraordinary in life, right? And that capacity is up to every individual. Every individual bear that capacity. Not even a single person, you can't say that I don't have it with me. Every individual has it. It's just up to you.
Yes, it reminded me of my biggest fear of my life. My biggest fear is to be dead as a normal person. I don't know how I'm going to be abnormal, how I'm going to outstand, but one day I just want not to be dead as a normal person. So I think that's a great story from you.
That is a good enough reason, Nayomi. If you don't want to die ordinary, like live an ordinary life and die being nobody, that itself is a good enough reason.
Yes, thank you. And now I'm moving to Mr. Heminda. So he currently works with a lot of science and engineering students, undergraduates and fresh graduates as well. So, Mr. Heminda, what is the level as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, you expect from the fresh graduates or the undergraduates when you are working in the field? And if you see a lack of those skills, that the domain knowledge or anything, what do you think is lacking in those fresh graduates when you think about science and engineering major? Because when they come out from the university and join as professional, I think innovation is a major factor for a science and engineering graduate. So do you see a lack in those areas in, Sri Lankan undergraduates? What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, good question. So I don't want to generalize on science and technology area per se, but then again, I totally work on this innovation area. So I think one of the things that you have to understand is if you are a science graduate or somebody who knows science, your knowledge will never help to innovate. Similarly, if you are say someone with the management background, your knowledge itself will never help to innovate. Say if you are coming from say art background, that will never help you to become innovative. But what really helps you to be innovative is if you combine these three or many of those. For example, someone with the science knowledge teams up with someone from the art background, or someone with the commerce background, or someone with different technology or whatever the background. So the innovations comes up with, or innovation triggers when people with different backgrounds get together. So this is what you have to understand. So in that light, so whatever the area that you are good at, or maybe you are focused in your undergraduate level, doesn't going to help if you want to be an innovator. So one of the things I really look at, especially young undergraduate, is not about, of course, the basic knowledge is required. Yes, if you are being hired for a say science related, IT related, you need to have your, whatever the knowledge which is given in your job description JD, which is required. But then, I can pick 30 or even 100 with that people who are suitable for that job description JD. But out of that, if I had to select, say, one person, then only I look at these other things. And those are the things that will help me to select, one person out of 30 people. So what are those things? So one of the things that I really look at, now I've been asking this question, whenever I meet a, say 7-year-old child, I generally ask this question, where you want to be, what you want to be. So a lot of this 7, 8 year, actually I got a 10-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. So when I say that, where you want to be, they say, I want to be an engineer, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a teacher. So I generally ask the same question from undergraduates also. For example, when I go to University of Moderator, I ask the question, these are all undergraduates in engineering faculty, right? So like within 2 to 3 years, maybe, or maybe next year, they will anyway going to get graduated. When I asked that question, they also reply the same thing. I want to be an engineer. Then there's something wrong with that. I mean, when I asked the same question with the 7-year-old, and after 13 years, maybe you are 20s, early 20s, your ambition hasn't changed. So this is a big problem, very big problem. So if you still say that I want to be an engineer after getting into engineering college or engineering university, or I mean, any science area, if you're still talking about that, I want to be a good scientist or, become an engineer, something wrong somewhere. It shouldn't be the case. So you are not ambitious enough, right? I mean, your same ambition is the same ambition that you had when you were like 7-year-old. So I think, so the answer that I want from that person is maybe, I mean, I select a maybe science graduate, but if that person say that I want to start my own business, not today, not tomorrow, maybe after 10, 20 years later, and then I want to give opportunities for 10,000 employees in my organization, and that's something that I look at as very visionary, someone that I want to work with. I mean, I would love to hire that person. I would love to, make that person part of my organization. And if somebody says, sometimes it doesn't have to be very entrepreneurial, something like maybe, for example, now, up to now, in Sri Lanka, we have never seen a Nobel laureate, right? 120, 30 years later, there's no single Nobel Prize winner from Sri Lanka. If somebody has ambition that I will bring the first Nobel Prize to Sri Lanka, that's the sort of person that I would like to hire in one of my organizations, or one of the organizations that matter. So I want these people with high ambitions, especially young age. So if you don't have that ambition, then there's something wrong somewhere. But that ambition itself also will not help. Then I have to look at whether they actually work for that ambition. For example, now I remember Rasini saying that, she started, she wanted to be, improve her public speaking and all that. So if you have an ambition of, say, I want to start an organization where I want to bring 10,000 people, give jobs to 10,000 people, obviously you are a leader of, say, 10,000 people, right? That means that you should be able to lead 10,000 people. You can't lead 10,000 people without having good leadership skills. You can't lead 10,000 people if you don't have good public speaking skills. So that is where how it works to an action plan. Now you have a vision for, say, the next 20 to 30 years, looking at building a big business with 10,000 people working for you. But you have to start now. How do you start now is have a short-term plan as well. For example, I mean, for you to get there, you have to be a very good leader. You have to start learning leadership skills. You have to start learning public speaking skills. So maybe your next year plan is maybe join something like, say, I don't know, Toastmasters. They work, join a Toastmasters club and improve your public speaking skills. So you have to have an action plan leading to that achieving that your very challenging 20, 30 year personal goal. So I look at these things. So when I work with people, I look at people who have those ambitions, not only ambition, but also they work towards that ambition in short-term plans. So that is, I mean, so your background, for example, whether you are a scientist, whether you are an engineer, your engineering skills, your scientific analytical skills, those are necessary, but those are not the things that I would measure a person, whether he or she should be working with me or as a colleague or as a part of my business. I mean, most of the cases now I'm looking at not as my employees or subordinates, more like my partners, business partners. So I'm looking at these qualities among undergraduates, maybe very just fresh graduates. Still, I'm looking at those qualities to make sure that is the ideal person for one of my business as a partner. Hope I answered you.
Yes, when you were telling that, when you're telling about this Nobel Prize, bringing the Nobel Prize to Sri Lanka, I reminded of a person. He is an author. He visited our university for a visiting lecture, and he said that his ambition is to have a coffee with Paulo Coelho. Paulo Coelho is one of the most inspirational authors. Now, he just doesn't want to. It's with him, but being an author or writing a book is not his ambition. It's not what inspires his daily life. It's that end goal, having a coffee with Mr. Paulo Coelho in Brazil, and he specified he wants to have it in a beach as well. So that's how it works for those inspirational people like you. Then my question goes to Ms.Dinuka. Ms.Dinuka is a project manager at Creative Software, and she is the manager of university relations as well. So, good things that you have noticed among the current generation, specifically I'm talking about the government sector university undergraduates and graduates, in terms of their domain knowledge, behavioral and attitudinal values, and their career aspirations. Let's not just limit it to good things. So if you want to give an advice as well, so as the university relations manager, what are the qualities you see in them?
Okay. If I talk about the positive aspect, they are easy to work with, accommodative, and they genuinely try to meet the deadlines or working outside office hours even. And I see most of the students, they wish to conquer in their career. So that's a good thing. So here we talked a lot about ambitions, targets, career aspirations. So I also want to add something to that. So maybe I'm not correct, but here in the IT industry, I see a lot of frustrations. That's because most of the young graduates, they target to be like someone else. So they do not target to. How can I say this? Okay, if I repress it, it is fine to me. The way I think, it's fine to target skill levels of others. But I think a lot of fresh graduates, they target achievements of others. That to me, it's not a good thing, because there's a very fine line between inspiration and frustration. So sometimes same or better skill level might be able to achieve as whom they target to be like. So because I believe luck plays a part in the equation when it comes to achievements. I mean, like if they are doing something in their own, it might not be, but sometimes when it comes to organizations, there should be opportunities and available also. So a lot of things they are in the equation. So what I think is, what is important to have is the skill. So then when opportunity knocks, it will knock. So then you will be able to grab it. So that's what I think about regarding career aspirations. When it comes to, since you wanted to talk me about weaknesses also, okay. So there are some attitude issues I see when it comes to the development team. Maybe some roles, they think some roles are high in the development team, some roles are low. That's incorrect. Like, it's really wrong to think like that, because at the end, all of us, that could be software engineer, quality assurance engineer, project manager, UI UX engineer, that is, all of us have to work together to achieve the final result. That's one attitude issue I see. Yeah, there's a lot I can tell. Do you want me to continue?
Of course, we can continue.
Okay. About our conceptual understanding, you're asking about undergraduates only, like what I see, the weaknesses from them, right?
Yes, the internees and the fresh graduates.
Okay. The other one thing, okay, let's get the communication aspect. Someone are questioning, they are not bringing new ideas to the table. So yeah, that's it is important to give opinions when it comes to software industry. Conversations and questioning, they are important to understand the requirements and deliver what is required. The other thing is conceptual understanding, because I see fresh graduates, they are more focused on completing the assignment given to them. Sometimes they copy paste and make things work, maybe from forums, tutorials, without understanding how it works. It is important to meet the deadlines, but should do assigned tasks, taking the ownership of that, following the best practices and all. So then only you will be able to develop a passion for what you are doing and take the pride. And then when you take the pride of what you do, then you will get job satisfaction. So yeah, that's it. I don't want to talk more about negative things. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, when you said that some of the weaknesses you see, like they just want to complete the task oriented mind. So when I don't know if I'm talking about myself, it's not going to be okay. But like when we were given a presentation, on that presentation we can in a mark, like we can score. But sometimes I feel I want to dig a lot and then make it more beautiful, attractive. Maybe the lecturers, maybe the panel is not they are not expecting that. But when you are not just task oriented, when you want to be a passion oriented, so that's how you do it. You take the pride at the end. You become the owner of the work you do.
It's important to take pride in what you do.
Yes. So then Ms.Rasini.
Yes. Yes, darling.
Development. Can you hear me, Ms.Rasini?
Yes, I can hear you, darling. Tell me.
Yeah, you currently work as a public speaking and personality development coach.
Yes.
And you're a psychologist as well.
Yes,
how do you see the level of soft skills of a fresh graduate, specifically the graduates from government universities? How do you see the level of skills, soft skills?
Well, right. Well, I must say that I will not exactly put it onto government university students, right, graduates, but I would just overall speak about it as graduates coming out of any university. Right now, here, what you have to understand is, I'll explain it to you in a very, very simple manner. Now, for example, let's say I know that it's the young age, right? Most of we all have boyfriends and girlfriends. And another problem that we all have is that, we expect our boyfriend or girlfriend to be almighty and, give us everything that we ever expect. So we want that person to be absolutely perfect. But at the end of the day, what we don't think is that we have a certain, portion of it as well to do. I mean, a relationship is never 50-50. A relationship is 100%, 100%. And this attitude, if you can practice in any place, I mean, do not expect your university to give you everything after that 4 years or 5 years of studies. Right? It's not going to give you everything. So you have a certain part as well. I mean, if the university is giving you everything, then somebody like Mr.Heminda, who bunked 80% of classes, right, would not be where he is now today. And I myself, I would say that I was a very average student. I did a lot of other things. But at the same time, again, Naomi, I would like to tell that it's always about the way you look at something and your attitudes. That plays a major part. Now, just like Ms.Dinuka also said, the comparison game that people do. I mean, I always say personality begins when comparison ends. Right? We've been doing it since childhood. Just like, a chip is inserted into our heads that, we always do this comparison game, even with the kids at home, even your friends, even taking your skin complexion from whatever you can name, right? Even up to education, you are doing this comparison game. You just have to understand that you are a unique individual. Even though that there are 100 of you who are studying the same subject, still there's a unique set of skills that you have. If you take 10 psychologists, they are different. Their approach is different. They have studied the same thing. The way that they do counseling is different. The way they are around people, it's different. So you just have to understand this. I would say that if you have this negative attitude in you, right, that, what you do is when you come out of the university, you think, oh yeah, everyone should respect me. You demand this respect, but what you don't realize is that you have to earn the respect. You just have to earn it through the way you work. You have to earn it through the way you communicate with people. So soft skills are essential. Your qualification will not matter to you at all if you're unable to communicate what you know. If you want to become a lecturer, it will not matter if you do not know how to give that subject out to your students. No matter you're with 2-3 PhDs, if your students are not getting anything out of you, you'll fail as a lecturer. And even though how qualified you are, if you go to a job interview, right, and then you are unable to communicate what you have to say properly, right, to the management there, then you fail over there. So therefore, it's essential that, you have this certain level of soft skills that in you, you have to develop it, right? You do not expect it out of your university. Do not expect that 4 years in your university, they have to take care of everything. They have to build up your empathy. They have to build up your confidence. They have to build up your common sense, your teamwork, everything. Do not expect that. You just have to work it out. You need to develop these things. You need to hunt down these things and develop it. Right? So like I said, every individual have that capacity. And also, again, looking at things in a different way. Right? So changing that, your way of looking into problems in life. For example, I'll give you a small thing. Now, past few days, we've been, in a very traumatic lockdown situation. Right? And many people were thinking, okay, so I'll have a resolution. I will start exercising because I want to lose weight. Now I'm overweight. I'll exercise because I want to lose weight. Now, what if you change the way you're thinking? I will exercise because I want to have stamina. I will exercise because it's good for my health. Now, see the way you changed your thinking? You think it's something bad that you want to take it out? No, you think of it in a very positive way. So this positive attitude, if you develop inside you, right? If you develop this positive attitude, then I think, nothing is impossible. And even developing the skills are not impossible, Nayomi, to be very honest. So, I see that, yes, there is a certain level of students not having these qualities. I mean, I must say that as a school student, as somebody in university, I never went through leadership program. I never went to any motivational program. But I don't know, it was inside us, to be very honest. You know why? Maybe because our parents had that particular trust on us that, we have to fight our own battles. Nowadays, what happens is, now your parents are ready to fight all your battles. Even in school level, I see this a lot in school level. If 2 kids fight, the next thing, you'll have parents coming into the school and fighting, their child's battle, saying, what, this happened. Now, they never let the children sort these things. So how are you ever going to teach children how to develop very good social skills, interpersonal relationships? You're waiting till your parents come and take care of everything. Parents are ready to lift their kid up, take them and place them in front of the row. They have absolutely no idea how to get there, how they even reach there. So they are literally lost. Now, this is a sort of a generation we are putting out to the society now. So I think it's a must that you think it's something that you should, because now when I go to teach, it's actually pointless teaching toxic adults how to have team building exercises when they haven't got an opportunity to learn it in school or learn it in universities. So these are the things that should be promoted other than promoting academic work. You need these set of skills once you get out of the university. It's another society that you step into. Now that is where your battleground is. Not your O-level examination, not your A-level examination, not your university examination. The biggest examination will come when you step into the society. Now there, if you need to be somebody remarkable, somebody outstanding, then you need to have these skills inside you developed at that time. So that is what I have to say.
Yes, thank you again, Ms.Rasini. Next question to Mr. Heminda. So now a big proportion of your professional life is about innovation and entrepreneurship. Turu and Venture Frontier, and I was going through your LinkedIn profile before the discussion, and I saw you were there in Mora Spirit was co-founded, and you said that you were a member of Rowan team. So, and I saw as well that talking about entrepreneurship. How did you shift shift yourself into this entrepreneur mode? Because you could have selected being in a corporate sector as well. What made you to shift to this entrepreneur mode? Let's focus more about entrepreneurship.
So I'll give you one example, then you can understand my motivation. So I think one thing that I saw was there was this when I was working for Dialogue in 2012, 13, that time, right? Those days. So I saw this particular analysis done in Sri Lanka, not about Sri Lanka, but Sri Lanka also included in the analysis, that in 1970s, Sri Lanka's high-tech exports. So high-tech exports means basically electronics, pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, nanotechnology, all that, IT, high-end IT. So high-tech exports as a percentage of total exports in Sri Lanka was about 1% in 1970s, right? And at the same time, countries like South Korea was about 8%. I mean, better than Sri Lanka, but then not too far from Sri Lanka. Coming back to 40 years, so I was talking about 2013 or 14, I think. So 2012 or 13, the same study was done with the same countries. South Korea high-tech exports as a percentage of total export was about 42%. Right now, today, I don't know the exact figure, the latest figure, but something closer to 50%. And many countries, even Thailand had about 8%. And Sri Lanka, after 40 years, after more than one generation, is over, Sri Lanka's high-tech exports was still 1%. I mean, today, if you take 2019 figures, we are still about, less than 1%. So it has not increased. So this shows there's something wrong with our entire model. I mean, we have engineers, we have accountants, super engineers, super accountants, super professionals, right? In their own category. I mean, nothing wrong with them. But then this particular indicator has not been moving at all. So I was wondering what is the reason. So then I realized The total problem lies with the innovativeness of Sri Lankans. So we are, when it comes to innovation, we are like backbenchers. So I wanted to solve this. So that is why I moved out of Dialogue and then started my own, get into this entire startup world. Started quite a few startups, including, not very technical ones as well. For example, there's a startup that I'm working today called Zero Trash. So basically nothing technology, but it's about cleaning the plastic mess, right? So things like that. So what motivated me was, of course, then I was at University of Moderator, about 2 years as a consultant. And then what I realized was, I do this basic calculation. For example, I ask undergraduates what sort of salary that you want to get in when you get the first job. So a lot of people start saying, I want 100,000 rupees. Some say a bit more than that, or some say a bit lower than, but roughly about that range. Then I ask you, okay, after 5 years or after 10 years, what is your salary should be? So maybe with your promotions and all that, you might get about 200,000. Maybe after another 5 years, you might get 300,000. So likewise, your salary might increase. And by the time you reach a certain level, you might get maybe even a 1 million salary, right? So that's how it should be, right? So then I ask them to add up everything, right? Say, for example, if your general working life is say 30 years or 35 years until you get 55, of course, you can work even after that, but generally say 30 years, add up all the money you can get by working for someone or working as a professional. So then usually I have done the calculation, it comes to about 198 million or something like that. So no, it's an average figure. And then when you divide that by say 180 or 190, say the dollar terms, right? You get roughly about $1 million, right? So that's the rough value. So basically, as a professional, your lifetime work, the valuation is about $1 million US as a Sri Lankan. If you go to say developed world, that value may be much higher than that. But the Sri Lankan average value that you create as a professional is about $1 million US, right? This is a very well educated, well qualified person with proper promotions and getting all that the career climbing in the career ladder and all that. With that, your value addition to the country is about 1 million. But then I started comparing that, especially with my experience with University of Moderator with young, very enterprising undergraduates. So one of them I actually is a partner now. And what I realized was there were 2 or 3 people who, after graduating from the university, within 3 years, I'm not talking about your entire life, like 30 years or whatever, within 3 years, they created companies that their value is more than $1 million US. So this is what you call value creation. A person, a professional, during his entire lifetime, he will create a certain value. An entrepreneur or an innovator could create the same thing within short period of time, like 3 years, like 1/10 of your time. So this is what you should understand as the value creation of a value creating economy. So that only can be done by an innovator or an entrepreneur. So professionals also can create value, but that takes a long time. So this is what I realized during my working life, as well as when I started as a entrepreneur. See, only entrepreneurs can create value, the real value. So that is my motivation towards moving into entrepreneurship, especially high-tech entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Mr. Heminda.
Yeah, thanks.
Ms.Dinuka, next question from my side. Now, we talked about weaknesses. We talked about strengths as well. Especially when we talk about weaknesses, how do you think those impact the performance of the organization and impact the career growth of an individual? Let's talk about the domain knowledge, the soft skills, and the attitudinal values of an individual. How does it impact the organization, and how does it impact the career growth of the individual. Ms.Dinuka?
Sorry, I think now you can hear me, right? Yeah. Naomi?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Did you
Okay.
hear the question? Did you hear the question?
Okay. I talked about communication aspect, right? There's a gap. So if I talked about it relating to creative software, so we are into IT services industry. If communication issues limit client relationships, then it's a matter for us. Because in the service industry, individuals and relationships matter for survival. And so it is important for us, our teams communicate with clients confidently. So that's how it is from the business perspective. And a pretty straight example that I can give relating to career development is that if there's a communication gap, then it might not be possible to lead a team. And okay, or if we take I'll tell you this as a background. Okay, so if we take passion again, at interviews, when we try to evaluate passion for the vacancy applied for, could be for software engineering, business analysis, quality assurance, the field that they have applied for, we feel like there's a lack of true passion in some students. They have selected their career because maybe because that's the program that they get selected to follow at the university, or because of parental influence, or because of the trend of doing IT, not because of true passion. So this is something I always feel when they are told. I'm talking about some students only, also not about government university students, anything like that. In overall, about fresh graduates. So when they are told what to do, and when it's a clear cut, they do it. They are unable to come up with alternative solutions when the problem is at hand. I'm not sure this behavior is due to lack of passion, or maybe because of some other things, or because of how our education system is. Or I'm not sure about that. So I think passion plays a part there too. So this and the conceptual understanding, less conceptual understanding I earlier mentioned about. So a person who is passionate will seek and get understanding of different technologies, tools available. So I'm not telling about engineering. So as a project manager, there are certain tools and techniques I need to know about. So when about those tools and technologies, when we have a proper understanding about the concepts, then we will be able to adapt, change very fast. So whatever the thing they are doing, if they are doing that with understanding, I think they will be able to shortcomings of what is available, enabling innovation, sometimes maybe even invention. So that's how for their career development. So I think so they should correct those things, should do things with true passion and with proper understanding. Then they able to go up the ladder. Yeah, that's it. Did I
Yeah,
answer your question?
yes, of course. So when I specified you to talk about the government university undergraduates or the graduates, the reason is there's a popular belief, the lack of soft skills among government university graduates or undergraduates. But I think according to what you said, according to what Ms.Rasini said, there's nothing like that. It's
There's
yeah,
something like that, because I'm working with, so we have partnered with almost all the state universities and some private universities, institutes as well, like almost all the recognized famous these private institutions, we have partnered with them. So this is common to everyone.
So yeah, be it the government, be it the university administration who caused this problem. Just this, as the students, we have to understand that we cannot put the blame on anyone. It's us. We have to shape our attitudes and our domain knowledge and the soft skills, everything that will match to the industrial world.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is clear, Ms.Dinuka. So Ms. Rasini, yeah, as a psychologist and as a personality development and public speaking coach, what are the ways and means that you suggest for the undergraduates to improve their soft skills and attitudinal values? I'm sorry.
Right. First thing, don't be sorry. Don't say sorry for those things, right? It's always a learning experience. Now, I must say few things, few attitudinal changes that you can actually have in you, Naomi, for this. Number one, there's this particular mindset that many people have, and that is you learn something to manage. You'll say that, I'll learn a little bit of English so I can manage. If I learn English so that I can manage, it's fine. It's all right. Right? Chuttak katha karanna tibunot ඇති. පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක balance කරගන්න තිබුණොත් ඇති. So this is the number one mindset you need to throw away. If you want to learn something, learn to master it. Have the hunger to learn it. Now, when I was small, I did not know how to speak properly in English. And then, finally one day I met a school friend who was in UK for a couple of years, and she came down to Sri Lanka, and seeing her, the way she spoke, I really felt that, oh my God, like this is usually not the way any of us usually speaks. So I actually went home and told my father, you know what, there's this girl in my school that, her English is so neat, so clear. And it's absolutely amazing listening to her. So he said, you know what, you have to work towards it. Every day you put in an effort to work towards it. Now, do not think that, you are what? We are just 20 plus and we are 25, we are 30, we have no time. How are we ever going to master a language? Now, no, you still can master a language. I will tell you, Naomi, every day I work hard for it. I am a public speaking and a personality development coach. But I have this auntie who's actually, I consider somebody who's just next to my parents only. I very clearly can take her name, Auntie Anoma Pereira. Very recently also, whenever I come up with a certain dilemma that, I'm not maybe pronouncing a word properly, I go and ask her, Auntie, is this right? Can you listen to what I say? Is this correct? Because she also always says, Rasini, it's all about, mastering it. It's not just about, average or learning, nikang, manage karagan, iganagan. That should not be the attitude you have. And even if I feel that, it's again, maybe not her. She's a little older, but not her. Maybe somebody who's smaller even. If you can learn from somebody, then learn it. Number one thing, Naomi, the attitude that you should have, you should be humble enough to learn anything in life. Like this is an example my parents used to give me. Right? Now, when you take a paddy, as it enrich, what happens? Does it stand straight like that? No, it bends. So just like you put in so much of knowledge, just like you enrich yourself with all these qualities, you become more and more humble. So be humble to learn, even from the smallest person you can find. That should be the number one attitude for you to go any place That is the number one attitude to have. Be humble enough. Even now, I admit the fact that some books, when I start reading, I refer the dictionary 10, 15 times even to cover up the first page itself. But that's all right. But the next time I read it, I will not need it. So the second thing you have to see, there are no winners and losers. There are winners and learners. You learn. Every time you fail, every time you make a mistake, you learn. So it's all right. I mean, the third attitude to have, it's like be very open for challenges. Because challenges are coming to you not to pull you back in life. It's actually to helping you to go forward, move forward. Just like you are pressed against the wall, you have no way to go other than going forward. So all these things are coming to you, these problems that you're facing, it's actually demanding a better version of you. So your competition should be with yourself. If you want to improve your language, make sure you watch, make sure you get yourself exposed to English language. Right? Kauru hari ekkenek struggle kalla English katha karada, do not make fun out of it. Encourage that person to learn, and you actually think that, okay, this is constructive criticism coming to me, not like people are judging me. If you think that
speak in English,
right?
We don't understand Sinhala.
All right, okay, sorry. So if you think the entire world is judging you, then how are you ever going to move forward? It's going to be so tough. So that's another mindset to take off. So be very open to learn. Humble. Be humble to learn. And have the competition only with yourself. Make sure you demand a better version every day, every next day when you wake up. Just demand that better version, better than how you were yesterday. And what are the other things that you can actually add on to your life? These things are common sense, to be very honest, Naomi. Sometimes what we lack nowadays is also common sense. And have those ambitious goals. But then for you to be number one, someone else doesn't have to be really, really bad. For you to succeed in life, others do not have to fail in life. That is another attitude you should have in you. For you to be good, others can be good as well. But that quality, that fine-tuning part is actually inside you. Those tools are with you, but you are unable to see it clearly because your eyes are on yourself. We hardly take time to reflect on ourselves, to understand our mistakes and our qualities. Because like I said, you go finding Mr. Right or Miss Perfect, whereas you don't actually see that, am I right? Am I perfect? To expect that from someone else. You are not. So it's a work in process. Every day you work for it. That is the kind of an attitude you have, still even now, if I have the ability to learn from even a smaller child, I will learn. I listen to these conversations they have. I listen to these younger kids, I mingle with them. I blend with them because you can learn a lot from them. Even the fact of how you would go and deal with another set of teenagers. I can't go with an adult mentality and deal with teenagers. So I have to have that teenage kind of a mentality to deal with them, to understand what they are going through. I never wanted to be just a teacher. I wanted to be someone who's like a facilitator, someone who's like a coach, I would say. I would like to enhance myself at the process of teaching something for them, giving my wisdom. I want wisdom back as well. It has always been that way. That has been my attitude all the time. It's a learning process. It's a give and take process. So you yourself need to work hard on these skills, polishing these skills, starting from the language, if I'm to say. English language, if you need to improve, you need to do your homework. I'll give you a few things. Okay, expose yourself to British English as much as possible. There are so many things, so many material you can Google. Now, it's not like olden days. You can be exposed to all these things on YouTube. There are so many British comedies and sitcoms and dramas that you can really watch. Start reading magazines, because magazines have conversational language rather than newspapers. But of course, read newspapers too, but magazines are better. I never learned English the traditional way of learning English. If you ask me what is the past participle of this, I would not know, but I have the usage. Because Nayomi, to be very honest, every day I work damn hard for it. I never stop learning. I'm not letting that drive get away from me. I always have that drive. Every new day I feel like, thank goodness, I'm given an opportunity to learn something. So do not make your life mediocre. If your life is mediocre to you, no one else will see it extraordinary. It's up to you to make it extraordinary. Others can't come and make it extraordinary for you, because if you don't have the drive, then it's pointless. So you need to have that in you. So there are so many things that you can develop these soft skills. You can even learn it on your own. If you're unable to go and participate in workshops, if you're unable to do that, read about other people. I would say that is my best learning experience. Learn about how these people in the world who has conquered the world has gone there. It's never the destination that matters. It's always the journey. How they have gone there. Even my journey. Because what you're going through today can be someone else's survival guide tomorrow. That is what you should understand. Nayomi, are you there with me?
Yes.
So there are so many things you can do. You can reach out to people, find a coach for yourself. Somebody who you feel, it doesn't have to be in the same field as you are, but able to add some positivity to your life every day. There are times that I feel terrible, horrible, and miserable. I mean, I'm human after all. Even during this pandemic situation, I never went through a training that says how to face a pandemic situation in a psychologist way. Right? It was a learning experience for me as well. But there are times that I really fail as a human. I get so worked up. Naturally, I get so emotional as well. But then there's my close circle that I always turn to. Tony Robbins says proximity is power. So you become the people you're associating. So make sure you have a circle that is there. That network gives you so much of positivity in your life. Make sure you have a close circle like that. So there are so many things you can do. You can reach out to people. Even I reach out to people. When I need inspiration, when I need wisdom, when life is pulling me back, I read a page or two from Mandela's autobiography. And I'm back at my track again. So you need these kind of things. So find your forte. What keeps you going is something. So have this self-discovery about you. Happiness or this drive is not something that should come from outside. It should come from within. And every one of us has this capability, has this factor in us. It's just a matter of reflecting yourself, reflecting onto yourself and finding this. Yeah?
Yes, Ms.Rasini, this reminded me of a lot of things when I was a kid, like when I was in grade 8.
Okay.
I had no opportunities to learn English. So what I did was I watched news every day. I loved the way the newsreaders read news, and then I had Thailand and Sunday. So then I watched English movies and I listened to English songs, and the lyrics that I had thought the complete opposite of the lyrics. So when I Google the lyrics now, I don't know. Oh my God,
Exactly. I mean, the thing is like, so because the thing is,
What
I
were
would say
they?
exactly. So Naomi, it's never something to be ashamed of. You are the biggest critique that is there. If you do not let the negativity get to you, it cannot affect you. If you are able to have that barrier, if you do not let water get into the ship will not sink. So you are the only person who can give these criticism to. Right, so if you are able to put that shield onto, you be the ultimate Mr. America or Captain America. I'm sorry, I just said Mr. America. I would say Captain America and have that shield, right? So then nothing can get to you. And every human has that capacity, and that is what I would like to say.
And when I was in grade 8 or 9, I didn't know that English is an element that is required to get a job. So I didn't have anything to manage in my life when I was in grade
Naomi, you are
8
lagging.
with
The connection
English.
is.
So I don't know how I love this language. So it's just a language. So knowing many languages, it exposes you to many things. Not only English, learning a language is very essential because you get more opportunities to learn.
Absolutely, true. Very
Meet
true.
people, make friends. Oh, I'm sorry. How is now? Am I
It's not very clear, Naomi.
clear?
It's a little lagging, I would say.
There are lag between say and
Maybe you can stop your video and then talk.
how is it?
Maybe, yes.
Can you all hear me?
Maybe if you stop your video.
Let's move to the next question then. Okay. How is it now? No. Hello.
No, not really. No, it's
Still not
stuck.
clear, right?
Your video is stuck, so I think you should stop your video, and then it should be better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Actually, I have switched off. The camera. Okay.
Yeah, you can speak now. I think it's clear now.
Yeah.
Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear now.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. So next one is to Mr. Heminda. Mr. Heminda, what are the opportunities the current undergraduates can find at the university and in the external environment to improve in the technical science and engineering stream? What are the opportunities the undergraduates to develop their knowledge and skills?
So I think I don't have to really answer that question. I think it's already answered by many people here in the same webinar, I think. So what you have to understand is that I think Rasini talked about it, Dinuka talked about it. It's, I mean, if you want to improve your skills, you don't have to go through the normal education structure like doing a degree or whatever. I mean, there's so much of knowledge, so much of areas for you to learn. For example, one of the things that I think this was told by Jack Ma, I think very important learning. So if you are, your first few years, for example, as a graduate, say first 10 years, what he normally says about 20 to 30, try to do a job under a good leader, right? So there are so many things that you can learn out of that person. For example, don't go for a particular job or don't go for a particular company, but work under a person who is a very good leader and whom you can learn a lot. So that's, I think, the biggest thing that you can, if you want to improve your skills. So being a mentee under a good mentor is one of the most important things. A lot of people don't consider that. So a lot of undergraduates, young people look at, the first thing that they look at is maybe how much of money, how much of salary that you get. I think salary, all those things you can take initial level. I think the most important thing is how much that you can learn from your superiors or your colleagues. I think that's very important. Then if you look at specific skill, knowledge, I think unlike 20, 30 years ago, now you have YouTube, you have so many other, if you look at it during COVID time, there were so many top ranking universities started offering their content free of charge, including Harvard University. So you can find this knowledge everywhere. If you go to Coursera, you can follow courses. If you go to so many other, there are so many other free content providers. Of course, if you want to get the degree or the certificate, maybe you have to pay a certain amount of money. But if the knowledge is the thing that you want to get, there are enough and more content everywhere. So as I think Rasini mentioned, start reading books, especially about people, especially about autobiographies of great people. And that is very important because these are the things that you won't learn from your structured learning that you get from universities. So even if you want to watch a film about a great personality, people who change the world, right? Try to, those are the things that you really want, especially at young age, try to emulate. So I think you don't have to go through the normal, a lot of people think once you finish your basic degree, now you have to start an MBA or a master's or whatever, right? Yes, it all depends. If you think that you want to do a PhD before 30 years, maybe that's the path that you have to take, but everyone won't be in that line, right? So I would reckon, understand, try to figure out where you want to be, your long-term goal, and then look at lot of areas that you want to improve will depend on not from the degree that you get, but the people you associate, how much of networking that you have, how many people that you know, not what you know, but whom you know, right? There are a lot of things that you can fast track. For example, if you look at even getting promoted or even getting climbing the ladder in your corporate level, it's more than what you know, it's about whom you know. It's a lot of people don't do that, moving from one company to another company and then coming back to the same company. A lot of things works if you know the right people. So I think it's bringing the improving your we call it actually your not really networking, but your social capital. So start building your social capital. How many people that you know, who are the people that you know in different level. So those are the things I think you have to start accumulating now as a fresh graduate. So hope I answered you, Naomi. Hello.
So we've almost completed the question. Hello. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay. Now we have almost come to the end of the discussion. Now I got a message saying that Mr. Heminda needs to leave for another meeting. So under the Q&A session, we'll give an opportunity for anyone. You can ask just one question from Mr. Heminda, so you'll see that this is a lifetime opportunity you are getting. For me, Mr. Heminda was a great personality. I have been in contact with him in LinkedIn for about 2 years. So if I am given the opportunity to ask a question, it's a big thing for me. So anybody, just one question you can ask from Mr. Heminda. Did you all hear me?
Yeah, we heard you. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Any questions?
Naomi, shall I ask the question?
Yes.
Okay, so this is for Mr. Heminda. So the question is, when we go for a higher studies, that means for a PhD, what we always hear is after finishing our PhD, if we come back to Sri Lanka, everyone is saying like we don't have jobs because we are overqualified. So can I know your idea regarding this question?
So it's I think it all depends on the area as well. But I'm which area that you are in? Are you technology related?
Chemistry.
Okay. So you're looking at higher studies in chemistry related, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me put it very straight. I mean, of course, there's some truth in it as well. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, this is why my intention also to improve Sri Lanka's what you call it, high-tech exports, right? So it's all whatever that you do related chemistry, physics, or into higher levels of sciences, all add up to what you call this high-tech exports, right? But if you do only science, nothing will happen. So now one of the problems that we face is in Sri Lanka, most of the people who are into science is doing only science at university level or the pure research level. So that's why we don't have too many job opportunities for people who are studying up to PhD levels, right? So only opportunity maybe once you finish your PhD is coming back to a Sri Lankan university, right, and become a professor or a senior lecturer or whatever, right? But the problem right now, what we face is we don't have an industry to support the people with that skill set, right? For example, somebody with a PhD in chemistry to work on a product that really stimulate that person, right? So we don't have that opportunity now. If you look at so the organization that I lead right now, Sri Lanka Institute of Nanotechnology, is one of the very few organizations where we managed in the last couple of years to bring 22 PhDs to Sri Lanka, right? Which is one of the biggest achievements that we talks about, because none of the other companies in Sri Lanka has done that, bringing 22 PhDs back to the country. I mean, obviously, not for SLINTEC, those 22 PhDs would have been working outside Sri Lanka, helping. I mean, so we have been helping to stop brain drain and make it like a brain gain, right? So I'm sure, and the current model that we work for SLINTEC is actually, of course, the science and technology. I mean, since we are coming from chemistry background, I can talk about that. I'm not a chemistry expert, although I am part of SLINTEC. But then what I can tell you is now with SLINTEC, the current strategy is to build companies build joint ventures out of the technologies that we are developing. For example, 3 years ago, we developed a company called Ceylon Graphene Technologies, which is, I'm a director of that company as well. We are transforming Sri Lankan graphite into graphene. And as you know, Sri Lankan graphite is the best quality graphite in the world. And our technology is right now is the best technology in terms of, there are so many technologies right now which you can transform graphite into graphene. But our technology is the best in terms of, it's most economically viable process for graphite to graphene transfer. So using that technology, we developed this joint venture called Ceylon Graphene. And so similarly, we have started developing many other companies like that. For example, now we are today, most probably by next week, we'll sign a biotech company as well. So again, we need about few chemistry PhDs work in that company. If you look at Ceylon Graphene, we would like to have a few PhDs working in. But this might need some time. But by the time, say, if you go to your PhD this year, I hope 3 to 4 years time, by the time you finish your PhD, we will have few industries, few companies, few startups, few high-tech startups in Sri Lanka, where you can come back and work. So that is the environment that we are trying to build. So, but again, as you said, there is a certain issue that, there are very few companies who can offer a job for someone with a PhD. But having said, it all depends on where you want to work. I mean, there are so many people with PhDs coming to Sri Lanka and starting their own startups. I mean, that is something that you can do. So it all depends on your motivation. So if you want to motivate yourselves to do a bit beyond what you did at in your degree or in your PhD studies, and be very enterprising, you can always come back to Sri Lanka. There is nobody would stop you.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Heminda, I think you can give a very short answer for this. Mr. MPC Manatunga he has put up the same question for 3 times because he might be very needed in that question. Can people start their own startup when working within another company? Is it legal to do so?
Good question. So to tell you the truth, I did the same thing, right? But I think it's, so generally it all depends on, you can't, it all depends on the modality that you work. For example, how I moved out of my corporate life to become an entrepreneur was basically not that I started, right? Not that I worked my idea, but basically I started supporting few people who are doing their own startups, right? So I was doing a full-time job, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, but then after 5, I'm helping these guys to start their business and bring in business. So that was how I started. So by the time that I realized, okay, these guys are now good enough to stand their own feet, and then also then I realized there's a path that I also can fit in. I moved out of my job. So it's the modality is very important. I mean, you can't while coming to office do something else. So that is illegal. Come to your office and do your own thing, which is illegal. But nobody can stop you working. I mean, if it is not related to the competitive area that your company is working, you can work even while you're working for your own startup. But then you have to understand the moment that you should leave. So that is something that you have to make sure by the time it is ready to take off, you should put your 24 hours into it. So then you should leave. Otherwise, nothing will take off. So I think it's a part of the learning that when to quit. So hope I answered you.
Yes, Mr. Heminda. Thank you. So, any questions from other two speakers? Mr. Heminda, we are very thankful to you. I think you have to leave. I think I got a message from Lahiru, who coordinated with you, saying that you have another meeting at 8:45. So, if you need to leave.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Thanks, and all the best.
Mr. Heminda, we are fine. Thank you very much. A lot of knowledge and insight. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Naomi.
Hello. Yes. So Ms.Dinuka and Ms.Rasini are still with us. So can we have 5 minutes of 5 minutes for a quick Q&A session from you two?
Naomi, I have a question for Ms.Rasini
Any
Bandara.
questions?
Yes. Yes, please, love.
Ms.Rasini, I'm asking this question especially from you because since you are in a psychologist side,
All right.
so when it comes to myself,
Okay.
I'm really lazy at my academic studies.
Okay.
But when it comes to club activities like extracurricular activities and sports, likewise,
Right.
I'm not lazy. I can do those works all along all the day without any
Right.
break. So I don't know what's the problem since I have lots of
Right.
academic.
Is this Lahiruni?
Yes.
Right. Lahiruni, are you doing what you always wanted to do?
Yes, I got selected to chemistry, and that's why I came to Canny University as well.
Right.
But
So
after I got selected,
chemistry is what you always wanted to do?
yes.
Right. Okay. So you are actually following your dream. Now, if that was asked from me, I would say I was horrible at chemistry. I never got anything out of chemistry. But okay, so if you're doing what you really like, right? I think Lahiruni, what you should think of now, you said that you are very active when it comes to club activities and everything.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes what happens is even when we study what we really like, isn't it? Still, at certain moments, because learning a subject in a very advanced way can be quite stressful for individuals, and this and going for longer hours and hours studying something that is very stressful, right, can indeed affect your mental well-being. And that can trigger the fact that you either showcase is in certain negative attitudes, like for example you feel really lazy, you feel very tired, you might feel exhausted, even at times that you are not studying, when you even think about it, it might get you. And at the same time, again, expectations. Now, if this is something you really like, if you feel that your family, they are keeping so many expectations of you, and then if you burden yourself thinking that, oh my God, I need to reach, to this particular position, and I need to really focus and concentrate and do my best and do it. Sometimes, you have to go easy on yourself as well, because there is a certain limit that we as individuals can take. So what I would tell you is, when you get into study, few things you can do. Do not go long hours and hours trying to focus on the same subject or any material that's around that subject. Make sure you have certain breaks in between where you actually do a little bit of reading of different material, or even like getting yourself exposed to a little bit of music, watching a television series or something, in shorter manner, Like, for example, half an hour, like that. So make sure you have a mix of things that you do even when it comes to studying the subject. And try to have alternative methods of studying. Do not just go into reading out something, because, people fall into different types of learners, Lahiruni. We are either auditory learners, we are either visual learners, we are either academic learners, or else we are kinesthetic learners. So there are 4 different types of learning. Now we forget all of that and we only follow the academic way of learning. So try to see what are the methods that really get things into your system. For example, if you listen to something, does that register very well? Or else if you visual something, I mean, for example, I'll tell you are learning about a tree. Now, for some people, looking at a picture, a certain graphical image will be the best way of learning the tree. For another person, it could also be the fact of listening to somebody explaining the tree, and then it really gets into your mind. That really, really establishes in your mind. And then for another person, yes, you read a note and then, refer it, write it, and that's another way. And then for another person, you need to go to the tree, you need to touch it, observe it, look around it, and that is how you learn. Now, that's a kinesthetic learner. So you need to have it with a lot of activity. So you need to, first of all, identify what type of a learner you are. And then you can absolutely use certain methods of, like studying in a different way. So you can adapt these kind of different ways of learning, not the traditional way that you've been doing for years and years. So even these methods can be exhausting as time goes on. So you need to really have quick changes, pacing yourself with, less stressful things when you're studying are certain things that you can do in order to see where you are going. And if still it's kind of troublesome for you, please reach out to me and we'll have a very good discussion about it.
Thank you, Ms.Rasini.
Anytime, darling. I hope I did justice to your question. That's all that matters.
Yes, it was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions from Ms.Dinuka? You can ask about internships, you can ask about job opportunities at Creative Software, anything that matters. You can ask more about the role of a business analyst. that will be my question if I am given the opportunity.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Nayomi, okay?
Yes.
Yes, Uttara, yeah, you can ask.
Nayomi, okay, I would like to ask a question from Ms.Dinuka.
Yes, go ahead.
Ms.Dinuka, but my question is, you work at Creative Software, which is a institution based all about software. So for a computer studies honors degree, what kind of internships and job opportunities do you have in your institution?
Can you repeat can you repeat again?
Being an undergraduate student who is following a degree in computer studies, what kind of is it clear, miss?
Okay. Yeah, it's clear. If something related to computing, yeah, we have software engineering, systems engineering, DevOps engineering, UI UX engineering, project management also, like not as an initial position. Yeah, we have a lot of opportunities, like whatever the roles there are in the IT industry, we have them.
So miss, is it like, does it require some prior knowledge about the field?
Okay.
Or
So not really. So I did computer science and I did my internship in software engineering. I didn't have any background in IT or management. Sorry, management or business, anything like that. When I got into creative software, and now I'm doing project management. I don't have any certifications or any background in project management. It's just the experience I got from previous 2 years. So if you can show that you have true passion and you have the required skills, then it's enough to get an opportunity.
Thank you so much, Miss.
We have a question from Ratnayaka RMNPP. He or she is asking, can I ask a question?
Hello, can I hear you?
Yes, if you are still with us.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
you can
we
ask
can.
a question.
Yes, okay. So I'm actually doing
Yeah,
my
we can
internship.
hear you.
Okay, I think, okay. I'm actually doing my internship right now because I'm actually kind of in a network related internship. But my question was not about that. I just want to know from the meetups and the forums and all those stuff I went by the past few years, I heard from the major company owners and the CEOs and all those like what do you call them, the boss people, maybe. I don't know. Okay, from those people actually told that the current IT industry, especially in Sri Lanka, it's getting demanding. It's like getting day by day. It's getting demanding. Like the employees have to equip it by a lot more skills, and also the company owners they are expecting a lot more skills from the employees they are about to hire. So is it actually only for the IT industry, or is it all for the other industries also? It is happening in the other industries also. And my second question is that we heard that most of the we are IT people, they have to follow most of the time, they have to follow like certifications and all those stuff to go for a higher post. But I think most of them are little bit more pricey, and sometimes we have to spend quite a sum of money for do a certification. So, is there any solution that we can go up in the IT field, like as we are undergraduates, so we are not earning. So, do you have any? Can you give any advice about going away to achieve our goals in IT industry?
Okay, so I think Rasini told about a lot of skills that we need to improve. So command of English and attitudes, a lot of things. So if you have those things, I think you can go up the ladder. So when it comes to networking, I think you will have to do certain certifications. So because then you can. So it is kind of a thing that you can prove that you have that knowledge. So I'm really not aware about the networking field specifically. So if I tell about myself, so I'm not going to boast or anything. So do you see this pink color wall here? So I'm at office now. So this wall, I wanted to, so this is office, but this wall and this 3D design and this sofa, these things, so there was a project. So they wanted to create a lab here. So that project was like my boss was looking into that. So I told him, shall I look into that project? So because I like to do that, I wanted to try it out. So then no architecture was involved. So I designed everything and they liked it. So the colors, everything I chose. So that was an opportunity for me. Then I got done everything from people. Then I came to know, okay, I can do non-technical project management also. I mean, not only software management, overall I'm good at management. So those kind of things we realize when we grab the opportunities around us, and yeah, that's it. So we shouldn't think things like those are above my pay grade, or that's not included in my job role, something like that. So once you do not think like that, then once you get the opportunities and do whatever you can do passionately, then other people also will notice that, and you can go up the ladder. Continuous learning is really important, and I have seen a lot of graduates going up the ladder very quickly. So that's because of their skills. So they are to develop your skills, you need to be passionate about that, and whatever you do, and then yeah, continuous learning, it's about learning. Yeah, can you add something to it?
Are you asking me, Dinuka?
Yeah.
Well, I would say, yeah, I mean, definitely, because, see, the thing is, again, I would, if I'm to emphasize, I mean, there are so many psychology majors, so many sociology, whatever the, subject that you can think of, there'll be so many people who are coming out with the same qualification. But then what makes you stand out, or what makes you can demand the respect, or whatever the demand, the particular job role that your dream job or whatever that you do, then you need to really, really go away from your comfort zone and then experience that, like, do not, and you need to really pass that fear zone that is right next to the comfort zone. And then only you'll get into the learning zone in life. And that is a must anyone should do. Because you fear, what if this thing happened? What if it will take away my opportunities? These are all limitations in your mind. So your mind is acting as your biggest limitation. So having those limitations, I don't think even you have so many opportunities out there, still you're unable to reach out to those opportunities. So get rid of those limitations first of all. And even if there's something very small you can try, again, have that humble attitude, like, okay, fine, I'll start from small. That's all right. Even that will give me a certain learning experience. You might not be able to cater yourself into a 100K salary as you get out. You might have to start from 25, you might have to start from 50. But still, like, think, okay, fine, I'll learn maybe few months and I will understand it. That's experience. That's learning. So that is what, do not wait till, oh my God, I'm going to wait till I get this 100,000 salary. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to put my standards down. I'm going to wait. And you do nothing and you wait. And that's not going to get you anywhere. So I think that is the kind of change that you should have in yourself, Dinuka, to adding a little bit to what you just said.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms.Dinuka and Ms.Rasini. So I think it's time to wind up our session, because we have been talking for 2 hours, and
Yes.
it is very, very insightful. You shared a lot of knowledge, Mr. Heminda, as well, even though he has left the meeting. I would like to remind him again. So thank you very much for taking your time for your busy schedules. For delivering the official thank you note, I would like to invite Bandara, Business Development Director at Ledkln. Over to you, Lahiru.
Yeah, thanks, Naomi. So everyone can hear me, right?
Yes, Lahiru.
All right. So yeah. So we have come to the end of our first session of a mini series yet to come. So I will not take much time. So a big thank you for Mr. Heminda. Yeah, he left, but being a very busy person, he spare nearly 2 hours for us, and also Ms. Dinuka. I think you are still in your workplace, so thank you very much so for bearing with us, and Ms. Rasini also. So Ms. Rasini, the things you said, they hit hard on my conscience. So thank you very much, and I hope it's for others as well. And with this combination of these three resource persons, I think now you got the idea what lady is doing. And next, I would like to thank for the EB Executive Board of Ledkln with so much of work with lectures from morning to night and assignments. You gave your best, and then the organizing committee of this session. Thank you so much. You did a great job, guys. And before winding up my thank you note for everyone who attended this session. Thank you very much. So we had around 120 participation today for this session, and thank you very much for that. And I think now hope everyone can realize what lady is doing. So this is the first session, the start of our series. Now you know what you need to develop when you are passing out as a graduate. So as Ms. Rasini said, you have to battle your own struggles. So Ledkln is here to help you to struggle the career developing battle. So stay with us, stay with for the sessions to come, and thank you very much again. So Nayomi, it's up to you now.
Yes, thank you, Lahiru. So thank you everyone joined with us. We hope that you will be joining this. We are available on Facebook. Go and search Ledkln, and we are on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter as well. We are there as Ledkln. So go and like the page, so you will get more information about the sessions coming up. Ms.Rasini, Ms.Dinuka, we hope that you will be joining with us in the future events as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You two are very, I would say, kind enough to accept this. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice. And yeah, let's strive for the excellence. Ledkln will be there for you. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Naomi, and everyone, especially the organizing team, for doing this. I think it's actually a very good initiative. I mean, it's an eye opener for many people, many students, and I think yes, now this is a time where you can really develop yourself, and you can really use this platform where your own colleagues are doing so much to give back to you guys. So make maximum use out of it. And if there's anything, like I said, please do reach out, and we are ready to provide answers if you have any questions. Thank you again for everyone who joined. And I know it's been about 2 hours, and we spoke, and it's quite a big task even to sit and concentrate for 2 hours, which is quite, it should be applauded actually. But thanks again, Naomi, and to the entire organizing team, and thank you, Dinuka, as well, and also to Heminda. It's a great honor to be in the same platform as you guys. So I consider it as quite an honor as well. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So Rasini, it was good to connect with you. Yeah. So thank you, Naomi. Bye, everyone. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.